All right, have and have not fans. Now, if you're new to the channel or if you've been on this channel for a while and haven't hit the subscribe button, what's wrong with you? Take a moment to hit that subscribe button as hard as David hit Veronica so we can get this train rolling and you don't miss out on any of my new content by hitting the bell notification icon as well. Now, I did a video a while back about the possibility of Gia being an undercover vice, and to be honest, this video might be short and sweet. I mean, literally, I'm so glad that it turns out Gia is much more than she appears, because I said it before and I say it again, Gia was probably, well, actually, I would say that Gia is one of the most useless newly introduced characters to the show, because I kept saying, my God, Tyler Perry must have some reason she's on the show because she's taking up so much time. Her character art makes no sense unless she really has a hidden agenda. And yeah, that explains why she's so determined to work under Candace, to be her protege, so to speak, so she can get intel for the feds. And the name wasn't mentioned in the episode. It was only if you saw the end credits, which literally fly by night. They're like blink and you miss at the end of the episode, because really, we're trying to pay attention to the clips of next Tuesday's episode. We're not reading the end credits because they're so freaking small to begin with. But the guy she was talking to, his name was Fred. And apparently, you know, he tried to get Jim Cryer to get information on Candace, because it looks like the feds are trying to bury Candace for the Quincy Maxwell murder. We know that George, remember the new DA after Jennifer was murdered? Yeah, I think when he first was introduced, you know, that was outside of Candace's house, and Veronica was there, and you know, it was about getting information. It's like, well, your son, we found his car keys there, and it's like, wait, what? And basically, you know, Veronica told him off because apparently those two have tension because they've met many times in the courtroom before, and based off the interaction, you can tell that Veronica smoked him just every time those two went at it in the courtroom, just like she did in the finale of season 4. And you know, at the same time got Jeffrey arrested and revealed Justin's affair on video. We do know there was, I think it was the pieces of the puzzle or something like that, the puzzle piece episode, and George went over to Jim and Catherine's house, and this was when Jim got out of jail and nothing was going right for him. Like, he thought he could smooth talk his way out of anything, and that's when George revealed that he has the photos at Candace's house of all the times that, I think it was from Jim being in the war room taking photos with the transgenders and cross-dressers and all that other stuff, and basically all the stuff that Candace was going to use to blackmail Jim. And at that point, you know, that's when Jim was like, fine, okay. And he tried to smooth talk Candace to come over to the house and come to his hotel room. But at that time, she was messing around with Charles, who she thought she had control over. So she was like, I'm not messing with this guy, this broken down, bitter, sour judge who was trying to go to the governor's mansion, when I'm messing around with the guy who's possibly going to be the next president of the United States. So basically, Jim wasn't able to get the job done. That's where Gia comes in to get information on Candace about the murder of Quincy Maxwell. That's pretty much what we know. She's an informant. That explains why she has been so down in the dumps about Candace kicking her to the curb. But that doesn't explain, because it appears that her and Jim have had sex before. So she must be one hell of an informant, because she's playing this role well. Who knows how many guys she's had sex with at the hotel to play her part. I mean, the way she's acting when the guy was confronting her about all this time and you still have nothing, and it's like, no, I got this. I don't know. Maybe she's new to the game. Maybe she's trying to make a name for herself as an informant, because she's kind of like she's kind of like an off-brand Oscar, because Oscar was great at what he does. And the only time we knew something was up was when David and Maggie were sitting at a table at the Sarandon Hotel dining room, and you know, Maggie was like, why do you keep staring at that guy? Oh, I'm not staring. And that's when we knew that David had a hand in setting up Oscar to go after Candace, because at that point, that's when he kept trying to pay her to have sex with him. And no, that's when Oscar tried to, you know, hit on Candace, like, I'm a prostitute. And he got up. Oh, okay. Then he got up and walked off. So then later on, he's over there, you know, enjoying his breakfast, and then David's looking over. So Oscar played his role to a T for several episodes, if not a season and a half. But with Gia, it's kind of like, you know, she just popped up and she's an informant, but she's probably not high up on the ranks or as well known as she would like to be. So that's probably why she's so desperate for this case. Now, I was talking with Chandler earlier today before recording the video. He was saying that Fred might be and Malone are working for them. I doubt that. I think this guy is literally just trying to bring, you know how hard that George is going for, you know, making the criers pay for what they did to Jennifer Salson because they got one of us, because, you know, one of our team from the DA department. I feel like this guy, Fred the Fed is trying to get information to, you know, hammer down justice on Candace for the murder of Quincy Maxwell. Maybe this means Quita's going to show up eventually, because maybe she'll get information from her, you know, due to the fact of they know about Quincy Maxwell, so I assume they know about the sister. So I think Quita's going to show up sooner than later, guys. I mean, no confirmation, but I just got a feeling about that. And then another thing people were talking to me about is, hey, what if Candace knows Gia is an agent and showed her beating down Rocky to show her, like, look, if you turn your back on me or snitch or tell my business, this is the same thing's going to happen to you. I don't think that's the case. I just feel with the fact that Rocky was in the inner circle, and then the fact that he went rogue, it was to teach her a lesson. Like, look, you saw what I did to Rocky, the same thing or worse will happen to you if you turn your back on me or snitch or tell my business. So I feel like Gia isn't going to succeed. I feel like she isn't, but we do know in the upcoming episode she's going to try, Candace is going to split town. I believe the episode is Moles, so maybe Candace does reveal some information, Gia gives it to her superiors, and then Candace is literally going to be on the run. The only reason I can see her being on the run is if the feds are after her. She finds out the feds are after her. So I think that maybe Gia might actually get her just due. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind Gia snitching on Candace, because she's put up with a lot, but we do know she's done that on purpose for the sake of her job. So there's that. So maybe the fact that she's new to the prostitution game is the fact that she's new to being an informant, and the fact that she's put on many different wigs or faces or hats before, but never in the prostitution ring. Because remember, Oscar even said to Candace, like, look, Charles, I need to bring him down for my client, but I'm a man, so I can only go so far with this guy. But I've been able to play, you know, the gay guy before whenever I'm working with a client in order to get, like, recover assets and whatnot. Basically, Oscar has hit on guys before. He's been that guy for the sake of the job. But when dealing with somebody like Charles, who's obviously straight, he can't use that. Only a woman can get the information that he needs. So I feel like, you know, Candace trying to get information, well, actually, Oscar trying to get information from Charles to bring him down from the campaign is kind of like Fred and the feds, Fred the Fed, using Gia to get to Candace to get information to bring her down for the Quincy Maxwell murder. So actually, Charles and Candace are one and the same in that regard. But yeah, let me know, do you think that Gia will succeed in her quest of bringing down Candace? We'll just have to wait and find out what happens with that. But thankfully, this does bring some more weight to her character. Thank God, because again, I thought she was the most useless character ever introduced to the series. But subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. How do you think this is going to turn out? Will you think Candace will discover the truth about Gia and bring her down as well? I'll talk to you all soon.